Should we pay men to donate sperm? Yeah, it's a provocative question, but one fertility experts say we can't ignore as Australia faces a major donor shortage. In Victoria, the number of sperm donors has plunged by more than 20% over the last 5 years. Last year alone saw another 21% drop. The result, growing wait lists, couples left in limbo, and clinics increasingly relying on imported sperm from overseas. Right now, Australian law only allows sperm donation on an altruistic basis. Donors can have expenses reimbursed, but there's no payment for the donation itself. But with supply dwindling, some specialists argue it's time to rethink that rule and put money back on the table. I've got to be honest, I didn't know we couldn't pay for sperm. There's an old joke in Friends where Joey was donating sperm and they made a joke he was making money hand over fist. But I think the biggest problem in this country, why people don't want to donate sperm, is because it's not an anonymous donation anymore. You might remember that since the early 2000s, every state and territory in Australia has moved to ban anonymous sperm and egg donation. So that means a child conceived with donor sperm has the legal right to know their donor's identity once they reach maturity or when they reach 18. So in Victoria, Victoria has the stricter system. They abolished anonymous donation in 1998 and later passed laws, this was in 2016, giving all donor-conceived people, even those conceived before 1998, the right to identifying information about their donor unless the donor filed a contact veto. New South Wales, Queensland, WA, SA and Tas, children conceived after the bans were introduced can access identifying information once they turn 18. Each jurisdiction maintains a central donor register. In the ACT and Northern Territory, similar provisions apply, though the systems are less centralised. So if you are donating sperm, sure, isn't it fair enough to not want to have any contact? You're doing this, well, you're not getting paid for it, which I think we should pay for it. You're providing a service. You should be paid. And this idea that kids can come back and knock on your door and say, you're my father. I mean, that's not why people are doing this. The states have themselves to blame for why donations are lower. It is a risk, and I think it's outrageous, absolutely outrageous that they retroactively put this legislation in that meant that people who had gone and donated sperm, thinking it was anonymous, can be contacted. I think that is absolutely outrageous. The fact is you're giving someone a chance at life, but these people aren't wanting to be part of that life. Now, you can make whatever judgment you want about that, but that's a decision they've made as part of this process. And yet we sit here and say, well, we have to identify them. The kids have a right. Well, okay, but that means fewer kids because fewer people donating. You know, we cause these issues upon ourselves and then say, how are we going to fix it? We have to pay people. Well, fix it by not identifying. Now, just to be clear, if you have been born, conceived because of a sperm donor, you can't go and then demand money and financial support from the person who donated the sperm. But you do have a right to know who they are. And I just think that is a problem. I understand that you may want to know about your DNA, your history, medical history, and all that kind of stuff. But if it becomes a choice of not being conceived at all and not having that information, well, surely we'd go for not having that information. We have to make some hard decisions because the sperm's coming from other places that may not have the same protocols that we have and even the same level of tests to make sure the sperm's okay. And we are now facing a situation where more people are relying on IVF and conception is getting harder for whatever reason. So if we want to keep this nation going with Australian sperm, whatever Australia is, we have to rethink the rules and regulations around it.
Fun, insightful interviews from a washed-up producer with nothing to lose. McKnight tonight, McKnight tonight. It's good night from McKnight.